Speaking at the book launch of Purposeful Chaos, Chicken Soup for Your Soul and Who Moved My Hills was the author, the managing director of African Environmental Sanitation Consult, and a lecturer. Mrs.Abena Asomaning Antwi said that a journey began in the year 2007 with a focus to support women in the juvenile in prison. According to Mrs.Abena Asomaning Antwi, in a statement said that she is confident of many great work done by the Sory Foundation in rendering support to many ex-convicts in Nigeria, Liberia, Seria and United Kingdom who have graduated from universities and have been fully employed through the help of 18 passionate women across the globe who deeply believe that women empowerment
because it was quite
is the
not
way to go.
acceptable to support people who have committed crimes. The initial focus of Angel Zoe Foundation was women and juvenile prison inmates with reintegration in mind. Along the way, I discovered a shelter for abused children who coexist with the remand prison for juvenile offenders. I don't know how that institutional arrangement happens, but it does exist in our system. How offenders would be put in the same institution as abused children. Yes, it's an oxymoron of some sort. But I discovered it. I remember my first year of work, I encountered two teenage girls at the facility. One had sold her baby and the other was alleged to have killed hers. While I was shocked continuously having to interact with them, my mind went to the deplorable state in which they were being kept and the fact that the law prohibited extended stay of minors. That said, I was worried about not only their well-being, but their eventual release into society. What did this mean for safety? I thought, well, these young women may end up in our homes as house helps. And if not well reoriented, what were we going to see? For working mothers like myself who would need to go out and work and leave our little ones with such house helps. As I interacted with the same institution for children, I met a young man on remand who I would continue to meet for the next 10 or so years, as his case was continuously adjourned. At the last count a few years ago, he had gone in and out of the courts 29 times, and his case had been adjourned. Juveniles are, by law, not supposed to be kept in prison for more than 3 years. It's against their rights. So for a minor who attend an adult in a system, what did this mean for his rights? What did it mean for us as a people? I wondered. Then I saw for myself also women who had committed offenses which should have ideally been given non-custodial sentences, but who were left to rot in prison, sometimes for stealing as little as 200 Ghana cedis. These women have agonized behind closed iron bars over the abandonment of family, and it's strange. As soon as the women are imprisoned, the husbands find new wives, and their children forget that they have mothers. I can boast of ex-convicts who have been supported by Angel Zoe Foundation in 4 countries, United Kingdom, Nigeria, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, and who have graduated from the universities and are now gainfully employed. It's a joint work. It's a co-authorship work that I did with women, 18 women from 11 countries across the globe. And all these women are very passionate about the economic empowerment of women, and we believe that entrepreneurship is the way to go. Women must have either education or economic empowerment or both, but never none. Thank you very much for being here.
The falls dashed, momentarily abased. I sit shamefully on the ground of despair, the once young face morphed by the painful and unforgiving fists of life. Life will throw many hardened curveballs your way.
Also speaking at the event was Ekiapiwini Amanokrom Nana Aweko Saki said that the book of Mrs.Abena Asomaning Antwi are extraordinary, most especially the story that surround them, which contain the product of lifetime commitment to excellence with a life journey of ambition and mindset of positive that encourage, which embedded in the expression of inner thought and inner self-education to balance in one's life to attain peace.
Is very intriguing, and I wish to share it with you. It was at 7:15 in the morning of March 3rd this year, and I received a call from Mr. Mrs.Abena Antwi, 7:15 in the morning. And he said, "Doc, I'd like you to meet with my wife to discuss her work." At that hour, ungodly hour. And, I should have asked him, who is your wife? What is your wife's work? How is that related to me? And truly, truly, she is. And I did. And ladies and gentlemen, in just one brief meeting, by the sheer quality of her works, by the resilience that she portrayed, I found myself totally immersed. Literally hooked. And I'm glad that we're here today to realize this extraordinary book launch by a daughter, because she is a daughter, she is a wife, a mother, a creative artist, an entrepreneur, an intellectual. Moved my heels, Chicken Soup for Your Soul, and they are the products of a lifetime's commitment to excellence. A life journey of ambition and a mindset of positivity and courage. They contain expressions of her inner self and core inner thoughts that have evolved over the years. And they teach us all to find balance in our life so that we can attain peace and harmony within ourselves. True, they tell her story, but it could be anybody else's story. They encourage us all to impact people, to embrace change, and to seek our happiness.
But as a gender activist, and I'm not a feminist either.
According to the Vice President of Liberia, Her Excellency Joel Taylor said that there is need to appreciate the role of male and female in the society in order not to leave no one behind. Her Excellency established that she is grateful for the life of Mrs.Abena Asomaning Antwi for ability to partner with a foundation and also use the opportunity to urge the community of women across the world to be able to render support in lives of those that must have lost their way.
Purposeful chaos, who move my heels, and Chicken for Your Soul. This first book that drew my attention was launched in 2020. I want to thank Abena for agreeing to work with the Jewel Starfish Foundation, which is my foundation of 22 years. I've been doing work for women and children. Thank you. But I've never done work with women in prisons. And the truth is, we must cover all of our bases, whether they're young women who are forced into early marriage, who may not have equal opportunities for empowerment and education, or middle-aged women who cannot find their way and are forced into prostitution and some of the other vices we find. It is our responsibility as a community of women and he for she champions, but of fathers and of sons, to find out what can be done to make a difference in the lives of those who may have lost their way. All of the statistics prove that women are still marginalized, some of the reasons for which women find themselves at the other end of the law. A sad part of the stories that she wrote was about a young lady who had left Nigeria, I think, and come to Ghana for greener pastures. And she used to braid hair, and one evening she decided to go and get some hair before the next day. And she found herself on a strange street and trying to find her way. There was a raid
a police raid. She was arrested along with all of the criminals, and nobody believed that she was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. She has spent many years in jail. I think that is a travesty. To remind all of us, even though this is not a church, that when God comes to judge us, and he will say to you, I was naked, did you clothe me? I was hungry, did you feed me? I was in prison, did you visit me? And as we are now partners with both foundations, I believe we'll do greater works. I pray you will reach into your hearts first, because we are moved by our hearts to see what support you or others can give for this important.
5, 4, 3. I can't hear you. 1 and 0. Congratulations, a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations once again, Dr. Asomaning Antwi. This is a wonderful story. A wonderful story.
Speaking in an interview with Nation One TV was the author and the managing director of African Environmental Sanitation and lecturer Mrs.Abena Asomaning Antwi, stated that her books are full of in-depth knowledge that related to everyday life's matters, most especially women, to get clear understanding that every woman must have a place, that they may be vulnerable, but they must also have the voice to contribute to development.
But we also have a strong voice to talk about the issues, to contribute to development. I write in my current book that women are good for business, women are good for development. If you look around the world, more than 50% of the population is women. Anyone who is into business, who has any understanding of where they want to target women for our sheer numbers, but also for our great potential. We are an amazing type of community. When you empower a woman, you are doing so much, because she's not only being your helpmate, as the Bible says.
According to Action Chapel International, Bishop James in his interview said that the people should not get the notion twisted that the author, Mrs.Abena Asomaning Antwi, is launching a product for personal gain, but rather she did it with a good intention in order to reach out to the vulnerable.
But if you ask me on any good day, I'll say absolutely wrong that anybody will say she's writing it just for the money she will get. At the end of the day, she doesn't know how much will come out of it. She wrote it with a good intention. You were here, you heard all the things she represents. Working in the hospital, working in the prisons, supporting underprivileged women, people who are facing on the wrong side of life. And she's done all that without taking anything from anyone. But if you do a good work, as we say in society, people will support you if you do a good thing. Abena is a good woman, very forthright, very entrepreneurial, and I can see her going very far. For a horse in the tracks, I'll put my money on her. I think sooner or later, if not the end of the story, sooner or later, we'll see the great things God will use Abena to do in this nation and beyond the borders of our nation. I can put my money on her. She has what it takes in her head, in her life, and all that it takes. She has it. She'll go very far. And anyone who has read about the book, I challenge you to read it. You see something about her and what she represents in the book.